So she put DUI checkpoints in Fruitville only, but what I also heard really was making the city a sanctuary city. So can we put, is that correct?
Like the Victorian, they have standards, some kind of colors or whatever. You don't want bright yellow. Okay, there's some colors.
I agree with you,
No,
but she doesn't because her Victorian, she wants pink.
No, what I'm saying though,
She doesn't want yellow.
It does give the homeowner an idea though on how to do it. When you go to the store, all you have are ideas and then you copy. If you don't give them ideas, they're gonna go on their own and become wild. That's all. Ideas on
education.
Ideas.
I mean, I have some personal philosophy about this type of building looks good in these range of colors from the architectural standpoint.
Right. What I'm saying is that if you got people right here in the Fruitvale area, for example, they have no idea about your architecture. They're just moving in here.
Right.
If you don't give them idea of what might be a possibility, then they're gonna do on their own.
What I like that I heard you say is that makeover thing. If you could fund like some makeovers and stuff and go around and everything.
And then it becomes that. What happens is that because when you go to the model homes, when they have new subdivision, they give you ideas already, similar to that example. It's not like you're dictating it to them. It's more like, wow, this is what this is what you can do.
But it's also education.
Yes.
To save the housing stock, we want to increase opportunities for education, ideas, examples, and resources. I just would have to give my editorial that all this requires agreement from whatever entity is going to put it on a piece of paper. And that can be challenging in a diverse community. I'm just saying it can be challenging because part of a diverse community comes with people saying, I have the right to do it the way I want to do it. And you're saying, I'm just saying, but just to get people to decide. I was around when they did the Rehab Right book. I'm that old. I was there, and believe me, just deciding what to put in the book and what to not put in the book was major.
Well, the thing about the vacant foreclosed properties is sometimes with the limited inspectors we have out in the field, we're not going to be able to identify a lot of these properties. So sometimes we have to rely on the neighborhoods calling it in. So if we give them the information that we have a vacant foreclosed program and we are making these banks responsible for the maintenance of these properties, if you notice a property that's vacant and it's not being maintained, even though they don't know if it's foreclosed, they can call it in to the complaint line and we'll have our inspectors investigate it.
On the question of creating Oakland as a destination for small business, are there more ideas we're hearing for the city to promote tourism specifically, but are there other pieces that the city should be promoting or ideas the city should be working on?
Should be safety issue.
Safety? Safety. Okay.
Just the city present itself as we are a good place for small business. You know, just tell stories of people that are small business success stories in Oakland. And get that out there in the public media,
a real campaign promoting the business, Oakland, and all of that.
So we used to have the Lake Merritt event in the summer that brought a lot of people in, and I'd love to see more of that.
We talked about the youth and employment. Some of the small business people could perhaps, deal with the site administrator and maybe do a not so much a partnership, but an internship, where a potential person coming out of high school that may want to major in business can get some hands-on from an entrepreneur that's already doing business here in this city. And that in itself will promote that lady or man to come and want to do business in this city because they have some tools to work with.
So we have Laura Perez reporting back for the Economic Development Group. Can we please have everybody's attention at the front, please?
So basically what we spoke about in this group was to make Oakland a destination for small businesses and to also improve the image of Oakland because I feel sometimes Oakland has a really bad reputation with foreigners. And so basically we talked about making a map of destinations for visitors of all the good places that people can visit in Oakland, like the zoo and Lake Merritt and other places that could bring other people in to get to know Oakland as a good place, and to improve safety in Oakland so that people won't think that Oakland is an unsafe place to live, because I feel like every time I meet somebody who's not from here, they always ask me if I'm safe here, and I always feel like I've never felt unsafe in Oakland. So I feel like that's a good point to bring across to other people, that it is safe to be here, and to campaign to promote Oakland as a lovely home and place for other people to come and start their businesses and to live here and to help out our city, and to also maybe have more city events and festivals to create unity in our city and also unity for other people, and to create internship programs for youth and for young people like myself to help younger people to broaden into, if they want to go into businesses, so that they could have the training and the knowledge before they actually go to college and get even more knowledge. So yeah, that's basically what we spoke about in this. And I'm going to introduce you to Preston. He's going to talk about other issues we spoke about. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we actually had 3 priorities coming from our brainstorming session in economic development. And the first one was job creation with high quality. Just a few. We just go over a few: attracting and retaining businesses, promote businesses that have full-time employment, vendor supply programs, preserve manufactured jobs, new niches expand, manage perceptions of Oakland, outreach to existing businesses, potential new businesses, work with federal government work programs, let's sponsor new employees, incentives for green tech, biotech, and nursing businesses. Businesses must have local accountability. Let's provide incentives, financial long-term benefits for short-term sacrifice, job training skills, retention of public jobs. Make sure large businesses invest in Oakland. Less restructuring of who is employed. No corporate greed. We don't want no corporate greed. All right. All right, and then City of Oakland needs its own higher state minimum wage. That's just to name a few. Thank you.
Thank you. Viola, under economic development, the other one is really easing startups, small business. It's really about job creation, and if we want to encourage our people in Oakland to come forth and really ease them to start new business, we're looking at allowing more ingenious uses of home occupations, micro businesses. What can you do in the zoning area to ease that? In the permitting, marketing strategies, though they support, the work we're trying to do in merchants, re-examining that. What is the definition of small business? SBA maybe says 10 million and under, but for many of us, it's a micro enterprise, which is 5 employees and less. Facade improvements, using curb appeal, the traditional tools that the city has to really help small business. What about vacant storefronts? Are there incentives that we can give landlords to help new tenants, especially startups that could use a break? And training, really technical assistance, really on starting small business. Thank you.
Up next, we have the education team. And we're going to keep it to no more than 3 minutes for each group. And please make sure to stick to your top 3 priorities.
Thanks. So we had a great dialogue in the education group, and special thanks to my volunteer recorder, Sharon, who without we couldn't have done this. So we had 3 priorities we came up with out of a whole list of important issues. The number one thing that we landed on, though, was funding for schools. We recognize how important education is to the community, and we felt that without the appropriate funding, nothing good can happen. So the things that we identified were how the mayor, city leaders, and we as a community can get behind existing lobbying efforts around education funding in the state. In Sacramento, May 9th, a local rally, May 3rd, and also supporting the Campaign for Quality Education that's going on right now, working on education funding statewide. Related to that, the group felt that we needed some leadership from our mayor and local leaders around an appropriate tax system in this state that those who can afford to pay so that our children can have the schools they need. And specifically in that regard, we talked about this notion that's out there about a surcharge tax on millionaires and billionaires in the state. Okay. Then more directly, locally, we talked about that the city, the mayor, our other leaders, and all of us can play a role in organizing local business and individuals to get behind our schools, to adopt schools, to fundraise for them. So that's funding for schools. Second one was just generally, we felt that there's a need to make the idea of education a priority in our community. And how do we promote the importance of that as a community? So one of the things that came up is people really don't understand there's a difference between the school district and the city. So it was suggested that we needed to convene a meeting of all the educational service providers in town so we can educate the whole community on how education is funded and who's providing it in this city. In addition, we were looking for the city to play a role in helping there to be more positive dialogue about schools. Sometimes these issues like layoffs of teachers get very contentious, and the city can play a role in making sure the dialogue is really solution-oriented instead of on our challenges. And then also, they thought we should have a campaign, an advertising campaign to promote the whole city to get behind our schools and education. The last issue, some of you may know about this, the school district is working on a plan to make schools what they call full-service community schools, where all kinds of services, not just for students, but the community, are delivered at school sites. So it was suggested that the city needed to develop its own plan of how it was coordinating with the school effort to make sure that we're playing and putting our services into this mix, and also specifically to preserve and reinvigorate city-supported early childhood education at school sites. Thanks.
Up next, we have health and environment.
Hi, my name is Heather. I'm from Health and Environment, and we actually narrowed it down to two priorities, which we thought a lot of our action steps would fall under. One of them is access to healthy food. Through the access to healthy food, we increase our students' ability to learn. We increase our visibility in the community. We especially want to strengthen community gardens and access to community gardens. We want to make sure that there's fresh produce in every liquor store and that it's a requirement for liquor stores to carry fresh produce. We have a lot of other ideas about that and access to healthy food. But healthy food, it all starts there. We believe our health begins with healthy food. It reduces obesity and makes us all healthier. Sorry, thank you. And the other thing is clean neighborhoods. We were health and environment. A clean neighborhood is extremely important. We want to reinstate the litter patrols throughout Oakland. We want everybody to have access so that they can clean Oakland. And when you're cleaning Oakland, there's more visibility. There's more safety because people are out in their communities walking. You're also increasing health because of all the walking and encouraging everybody to get outside. So the cleanliness of our neighborhoods and the access to food.